Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Jai
Hare
Shri
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Chaitanya
Ram, Hare
Prabhu
Ram, Ram
Nityananda
Ram, Hare
Shri
Hare,
Advaita
Hare
Gadadhar
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Srivasari Gaura
Krishna
Bhakta
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Jai
Ram,
Shri
Ram
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Chaitanya
Hare,
Prabhu
Hare Krishna,
Nityananda
Hare Krishna,
Shri
Krishna
Advaita
Krishna, Hare
Gadadhar
Hare, Hare
Srivasari
Ram,
Gaura
Hare
Bhakta
Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna everyone. So today is Sunday, 22nd of October. It is Ashwini Masa Padmanabha Masa, Sukla Paksham, and the Ashtami Tithi. So there are no Vaishnava events today. So we shall quickly enter into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the personified Dharma in the form of bull speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. And so in order to, for the inquiries of Parikshit Maharaj, Dharma is answering for his problems. So yesterday we have seen how Dharma was speaking, saying that there are so many scholars, they speak on the philosophy because of their different words and differences in the opinions. We are bewildered sometimes. Likewise, Dharma is saying. So this is a bit wonderful when Dharma says that we are vimohitaha. So Dharma says, Navayam kleshi bhijani yatasyuhu purushashabha purusham tam vijanimu vakya bheda vimohitaha. When Dharma, the personified Dharma, he himself says that even we are bewildered about my problems, then what to speak of the ordinary people? But they think that they know the problem they know the causes for their problems. But here, Dharma is saying, Navayam kleshi bijani. So even we don't know what is the problem for what is the cause for our problems. So now I am on only one leg, so three legs are no more there. But even though Parikshit is directly hurting the bull and the cow, Mother Earth and Dharma. So Dharma is saying that we are bewildered, whom to say that the reason for it. But we say directly point to the opposite people, but whoever is directly causing. So, but here Dharma says that we do not know, we are bewildered. Here different people say, Purusham tam vijanimu vakya bhed vimohitaha. Different people say different opinions, saying that this is the cause for their problem. So further Dharma says that. So today, Dharma further continuing, so how their different opinions would they exist. So some people they say that first of all, whoever is completely transcendental, so which is not belonging to these material things, so they will say who are not accepting the second kind of impersonal, like Advaita, completely transcendental. They do not accept the individual soul and the supreme soul and the bhakti yoga kind of thing. So there are some kind of tattvavetas. So they accept few reasons. One is the he himself is the only reason for his own problems. That is one point. And second point is the divine nature is the second problem. That is second cause. So likewise, some other category is there. And third thing is some other category says that karma is the reason for the problems. And the fourth category says the material nature is the reason for their own problems. Likewise, four different opinions Dharma mentions here. So we are in the first canto, chapter 17, verse number 19. केचिद्विकल्पवसना आहुः आत्मानम् आत्मनः Daivam anye apare karma swabhavam apare prabhum kechid vikalpa vasana ahuhu. And kechid, some people, vikalpa vasana. So vikalpa vasana, those who deny all kinds of duality, completely advaita. Some of them who deny all kinds of duality. Kechid vikalpa vasana ahuhu, and they declare atmanam atmanaha, their own self, atmanam atmanaha. He is the only, the atma is the reason for their own problems. He is a self. Atmanam atmanaha. And then further, daivam anye. And some people say, some Tattvaveda say, daivam anye, superhuman. Superhuman is the, which is beyond this human conception. That is the reason for the problems. Daiva manye apare karma. Some people say that activity, karma is the reason for their own problems. Apare karma. Swabhavam apare prabhum. And some other people says material nature is the problem. Material nature is the cause for all the problems. Likewise, these four authorities, different Tattvavedas, so they are exhibit their opinions. Likewise, Dharma is saying, so because of their opinions, we are bewildered. So likewise, Kechid Vikalpa Vasana Ahuhu Atmanam Atmanaha Daivam Anye Apare Karma Swabhavam Apare Prabhu. So this is very deep topic. So it is Dharma is saying four different kinds of categories of tattvas are exhibiting their opinions differently. We are bewildered. So translation for this verse. Some of the philosophers who deny all sorts of duality declare that one's own self is responsible for his personal happiness and distress. Others say that superhuman powers are responsible, while yet others say that activity is responsible, and the gross materialists maintain that nature is the ultimate cause. And purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As referred to above, philosophers like Jaimini and his followers established that fruitive activity is the root cause of all distress and happiness, and that even if there is a superior authority, some superhuman powerful god or gods, he or they are also under the influence of fruitive activity because their reward result according to one's action. They say that action is not independent because action is performed by some performer. Therefore, the performer himself is the cause of his own happiness and distress. In the Bhagavad Gita 6.5, also it is confirmed that by one's mind freed from material affection, one can deliver himself from the sufferings of material pangs. So one should not entangle oneself in matter by the mind's material affections. Thus, one's own mind is one's friend or enemy in one's material happiness and distress. Atheistic, materialistic Sankyayites conclude that material nature is the cause of all causes. According to them, combinations of material elements are the causes of material happiness and distress. And disintegration of matter is the cause of freedom from all material pangs. Gautama and Kanada find that atomic combination is the cause of everything. And impersonalists like Astavakra discovered that the spiritual effulgence of Brahman is the cause of all causes. But in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself declares that he is the source of impersonal Brahman, and therefore he, the personality of Godhead, is the ultimate cause of all causes. It is also confirmed in the Brahma Samhita that Lord Krishna is the ultimate cause of all causes. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So here it is very, very deep topic, as Dharma is saying different kinds of philosophers says different words, different opinions. And also Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions it is the one's own mind is the, if he makes that one as his friend, then उद्धरेत्म आत्मानं नात्मानं अवसाधयेत् आत्मैव हि आत्मना बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः. So it is one must deliver himself with the help of his mind, so, and not degrade himself. So the mind is the friend of a conditioned soul and his enemy as well. So Krishna says that one. And also Krishna says, प्रकृतेः कर्माणि गुणे कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढात्मा कर्ताहम् इति मन्यते. So that is one level of understanding. It is the nature is the cause for all the problems, because one has got the material body according to his nature. So material nature would work on the body. So that way Krishna says, and Krishna also says, Brahmano hi pratistaham avyasya amrutasya cha. So this is also Krishna says that shashvatasya dharmasya sukasya aikantikasya cha. That is the ultimate aim for many people, but that is also, for that I am the only basis. Brahmano hi pratistaham. And Prabhupada also mentions from the Brahma Samhita, Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishnaha Sachidananda Vigrahaha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam. Krishna is the ultimate cause, causes of all causes. So that way, different philosophers says, and here Dharma is quoting all these philosophers' words. There are so many things, but here Krishna, ultimate authority, so declares that Krishna is supreme cause. Prabhupada is mentioning in this purport. So likewise, Dharma is speaking to Parikshit. So Kechid Vikalpavasana Ahuratmanamaatmanaha Daivam Anye Pari Karma Subhavam Apare Prabhum. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam. We shall quickly enter into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today it is a letter to Vamana Deva, October 21st, 1969, Tittenhurst. Can I request any dear devotees to read this letter?
Like Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. My dear Vamanadev, please accept my blessings. I'm in due receipt of your letter dated October the 14th, 1969, and have noted the contents carefully. If you can open a center with Indira Dasi, that will be a great pleasure for me. I want that all married couples should open new centers and carry on by dint of hard labor. Every householder, husband and wife together, they're required to live in an apartment. So if they have got an extra room, they can immediately start a center. You have seen in Hawaii how Gauradhara and Govinda are gradually developing from the beginning to a nice center in Hawaii. Whenever they sit down, whenever we sit down and chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, I've lost it now. And chant Hare Krishna, people will gather and gradually become our devotees, and thus the center is developed. So if you want to open a center, that is very good. But at the same time, you must be able to measure your strength, whether you will be able to do it. And in the meantime, Columbus Center may require your service, so you may remain there. And when you feel strong, you can do it with Krishna's blessings. But if you do it sincerely and seriously, you will be successful. In Japan, Sudama and his wife are doing very nicely and have got encouraging letters that Bali Mardan is desiring to go to Australia to open a center. Also, Suridas and his wife, Jotila, with others, have gone to Paris. As formerly, the Europeans made colonization in different parts of the world. It is the same thing. Colonization of Sankirtana is Krishna consciousness. Please offer my blessings to your good wife, Indira Dasi. I hope this will meet you both in good health. Your well-wisher, your ever well-wisher, Bhakti Siddhanta A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Any takeaway points, Mataji?
Prabhupada is saying throughout this letter how it will deepen his pleasure if couples get together and create temples. He's very keen in developing more and more and more temple, as he's preached all his existence about we must build temple, we must build temple. And he says even if when you're married, you will have to have a place to live, and in that place there might be an extra room, so you must start a center, and from there you will encourage people by chanting Hare Krishna. We'll attract the public, and that's how we'll develop a real congregation and move on to bigger things. But he's saying you got to be strong enough to do it, obviously. But he's also given examples of other couples. So throughout this passage is about couples getting together and strengthening the movement and developing centers. He's pointed out some examples about Hawaii, Japan, and two couples venturing into Australia, and one couple is actually on their way to Paris to develop this movement. So he's encouraging Vamanadev to take up that there's an opportunity, there's a lot of scope for him to do it, but please feel strong enough by developing this level of readiness, really. That's what he's saying. So it's a very encouraging and deep-seated desire of Prabhupada to create more temples and attract the public, because that's what's our aim is, to spread the word, to let everybody know where they could reach happiness, because the material world we come here to suffer. There's a lot of suffering in the material world, and everybody's got a right to know that they have the opportunity to go back to Krishna. And he's saying if you look to Krishna and you pray to Krishna, Krishna will give you that strength. So that's one of the things that is so. Chant Hare Krishna and look up to Hare Krishna, and you will actually develop some amazing strength and power to move on and do the right thing, which is create more temple, attract people, let them know where they can be happiest. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully summarized how Prabhupada is encouraging. Okay, so any other points, dear devotees, you wanted to highlight?
So what's the take-home message is that even we can actually create a temple in our home. So families do have extra rooms, so they can start inviting people around, have Sankirtan movement in their home, and spread the word. Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Very beautiful point highlighted by Janaguna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. I would just like to add that from this letter we can see that any ashram we are at in ISKCON, I think majority of the even more than majority are grihasthas. So whichever ashram we are at, that is not any hindrance. So we can carry out our Krishna consciousness. We can carry out the practice as Srila Prabhupada has always stressed upon in any ashram of life we are at. So, sometimes we say that in Grihastha life we are so busy. We have lots of programs and plans and schemes to survive in the material world. But even though this is not any hindrance, if we have to practice, we can. We can practice in Grihastha ashram. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Okay, so that it's perfectly suit for all of us, so all our grihasthas. So it is. Thank you so much, Mataji. Any other points, dear devotees? Okay, so if there are no further comments, and from the announcements point of view, once again our week started. I don't have, and also with regards to the fundraise, we have shared in the group. So kindly utilize that one. So we have opened that one. Keep it open until 28th, until end of this month. 28th, that is Saradaya Rasa Purnami. And then we will do the offering on 29th of October. Okay, just that is an update. And dear devotees, if you have got any further updates, kindly share or anything on Krishna consciousness. If there are no updates, then we shall move on to that Sloka learning.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Just to let people know that the theatre will be open again today. And last week the key was missing, so we couldn't do it. Just please forgive me if you turned up and I wasn't there because the theatre wasn't available. But I think there were some people interested, and I'd like to let them know, please come along. It will be such a joy to watch what Prabhupada went through to get us where we are. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for that updates. Okay, so we shall move on to the next.
Oh, I forgot to say it's 2:30 this afternoon. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 2. Let's click on this one. Shall go to verse. Okay, so can I request dear devotees, so recite this verse 3 times, and then later on at the end we will discuss on this topic. So can I request from the alphabetical order? Devashish Prabhu Janma Mataji, would you like to go first?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I will go first. Yad anudhyasina yukta karma granthi nibandhanam chindanti kavidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. Yad anudhyasina yukta karma granthi nibandhanam chindanti kavidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. Yad anudhyasina yukta karma granthi nibandhanam chindanti kavidastasya kona kuryat katharatim.
Thank you, Mataji. Can I request Gaurangi Mataji? I'll enable this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. Yada nudhyasina yuktaha karma granthi nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. Yada nudhyasina yuktaha karma granthi nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. Yada nudhyasina yuktaha karma granthi nibandanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryata katharatim. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Can I request Jahnakanya Mataji?
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yadanudhyasina yuktaha karma granti nibandhanam chindanti ke kovidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. Yadanudhyasina yuktaha karma granti nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya Kona kuryat katharatim yadanudhyasina yuktaha karma granthi nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Can I request Rajikeshwari Mataji next?
Hare Krishna. Yad anudhyastina yukta karma granthi nibandhanam chindansi kovidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. Yad anudhyastina yukta karma granthi nibandhanam chindansi kovidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. Yad anudhyastina yukta karma granthi nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So here, Sutta Goswami, he has been explaining to the Saunakadi sages. So he's establishing that in the number of previous verses, saying that about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how one has to execute a devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like a bhaktya shuddha gruhitaya, and then that everything is for only pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why tasmad ekena manasa bhagavan sattampatihi srotavyah kittavyasya jayah pujyasya. So he has explained everyone has to all the time and engage the mind. Tasmad ekena manasa srotavyah kittavyasya jayah pujyasya nityada. All the time one has to engage himself in all these activities. So after that, this is giving is a kind of a summarizing all the whatever he has spoken. Yadanadhyasana yuktaha karma grandhi nibandhanam chindanti kovidahtasya kona kuryat kataratim. So he is saying, who would not accept this kata, Krishna kata? So what is that Krishna kata? It is cut the knot with the material world. And whenever it is giving pleasure, transcendental pleasure, at the same time, it would do the cut. It would cut the knot with the material world and elevate oneself onto the spiritual world. So translation: with sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of the reactionary work, karma, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? Kona Kuryat Kataratim. So beautifully said. Okay, now we shall go into the verses and the meanings of each and every Sanskrit words. Okay, can I request Devashish Prabhuji and Mambi Madaji so to explain this one? The first line, Yadanudhyasina Yuktaha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I'm sorry because I don't know the structure. Prabhu, should I explain the first line?
Yes, Mataji. So what you wanted to say on those words? in meanings and then the context of this.
Okay, Prabhu, I will try. Yad anudhyasina yukta. So yat, which, anudhya, remembrance, and asina, sword, karma granthi, nibandhanam. Yukta, being equipped with karma, reactionary work, granthi, knot, nibandhanam, internet. Chindanti kovidas tasya. Chindanti is cut, kovida, intelligence, tasya, his. Ko na kuriyat katha ratim. Ka, who, na, not, kuriyat, shall do, katha, messages, ratim, attention. So, an intelligent person, he engages his mind in the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, and by doing so, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 18.66, Sarvadharman paritejya mamekam sharanam braja aham tam sarvapapi bhumakhaishyami masucho. So anybody, any intelligent person or self-realized soul, he always engages his mind. Manmana bhakta mad bhakta majyaji mang namaskuru mame vaishyashi chiktai bamattanang tatparayana. So if anyone engages his mind in the lotus feet of Krishna, he immediately relieves or frees himself from all reactionary work or from all reactions of his previous karma, just by remembering the Lord all the time. And therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? So therefore, so that intelligent person, his words and whatever he's saying is very important to listen. And who will not pay attention to his message means whatever he's saying that from his realization, of Bhagavan. So by remembering the Lord all the time, that we can we surrender to the Lord by worshiping the Lord, by offering our obeisances to the Lord, and in that way we can actually cut the knots of our previous karmas, and then we and of course material attachment, and we do not come back, or we do not fall into this horrible material existence again. Just by knowing the transcendental nature, the transcendental forms, and the transcendental activities of the Lord said in Bhagavad Gita that he can immediately be freed from this material world. And once he goes back to the Lord, he doesn't have to come back to this material world. So Krishna is so merciful. Just by knowing that by heart, one can be freed. And what to speak of surrendering ourselves to the lotus of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. That is the weapon, asinayukta, just by yad anudya. So just by remembering the Lord, that will turn into asitayukta, just wearing the weapon to cut the knot. Okay, thank you, Mataji. So can I request Gauringi Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah.
So karma grandi. So what is karma grandi, Mataji?
Karma grandi means is material lock, Prabhuji, I think.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. We all of like Grihasti is all karma granthi, Prabhuji. We I cannot say, Prabhuji, sorry. You can explain for me. Thank you.
We are all grastas. That means already there is a knot. That is the karma grandi. Whenever a grihastha, he has to work and then feed the family, and then that is the way we have to continue until end of this body exists. Karma grandi and nibandhanam. Can I request Jahnukanya Mataji to explain furthermore with the karma nibandhanam, karma grandhi nibandhanam?
Hare Krishna. So what this is saying is karma is reactionary work, which is we work to look for material gains or results. And when we do this, we do not think about where it's coming from, how we achieve that, how important it is to be aware of the Lord providing for us and giving us these amazing opportunity. We are meant to work. We're here to work, but what kind of work do we perform? And granti means when we are busy striving for these, chasing the pound, as it were, which we're never going to catch, we get caught up in a tight bond. It says knot here. Granti means you get caught in this knot. You're knotted into one tight bond, and it's hard to escape. So Maya is the cause of this. She's waiting to attract us in this kind of way of living. And so nirbandhanam, it's to do with, it says it means internet. So it connected with getting caught up, and we are tightly bonded. And caught so tight, it's like what they call that glue that you can't separate. The glue that you buy, what's it called again?
Super glue?
Sorry? Super glue, yes. Super glue gets caught in super glue and you're stuck. And so you cannot move. There's lack of movement. So what this verse is telling you is that you need to get out of that. You have to, intelligence wouldn't just enough to free you. You need to use the spiritual sword to sever this horrible tight bond. That's the only way to get, and that will free you. That means freedom to liberation, which is the spiritual world, to Krishna, to Lord Krishna, go back to Lord Krishna. So he's saying that so for this action that you perform and you get caught up and you cannot move, you need to perform honest, sincere duties to Krishna, serve Krishna. So what he's saying, to be intelligent enough to avoid this conditional life and chant Hare Krishna. And so it's saying here about Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, and do devotional service, sincere devotional service to gain this liberation. So it's about reaching the transcendental service of the Lord. You have to really take to Krishna consciousness. And it says that Krishna promises constant promotion to liberation. Instantly you will get it, and it will be constant. You will be in a place where you're forever youthful. You don't have to worry about anything. All you receive is lila and joy, and being connected with the real truth and happiness. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So yeah, it is. So this karma grandhini nibandhanam. So this is once again the comparison is also given by Narada Muni to Yudhishthira, saying that cow and how it is tied with a nose thread and also another big rope and tying to the big pillar so that it will not move at all, and it is controlled by the nose thread. Yata gao nasi protaha tantyam baddan damabihi. And likewise, cow is tied up with the rope and the nose, and then another nose thread. Likewise, every human being is tied up. Vaktanja baddha namabihi. by the Vedic injunctions. Balim Vahantim Mishituhu. So they worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, this Karma Grandhi, it is very, very difficult one. So just by Krishna Katha, it can be cut. So now, can I request, thank you so much, Mataji. Rajikeshwari Mataji, would you like to give some enlightenment on this third line? Chindanti Kovidastasya.
Hare Krishna. Chindanti is to cut, Kovidas is intelligence, and Tasya is his. So if we want to get out of this karma granthi, it's so tightly done that if we want to get out of it, it's the only way is to cut it. We can't untangle it. Because the karma granthi is entanglement of so many births before this. So it's not good enough to untangle it. You cannot do it. It's not possible. The only way is to cut it. Cut the rope with intelligence. We can't do it on our own, and therefore we have to try and remember Krishna. Because every time we remember Krishna, we are increasing our intelligence to get out of the material world. So the spiritual intelligence only comes from Hari Katha. And therefore, Hari Katha is extremely important. And that's the only way to chop off the ropes of karma. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So that is the Harikatha is the source to cut the knot. So this one in this sequence, the 21st verse also, so the Goswami says, Bidjate Hruday Grandhi Chijjante Sarvsamsayaha. And what happens when it is cut? Then all these kinds of doubts have been removed. Then Kshiyante Chasya Karmani, all these karmic activities will be gradually subsided. And then what happens? Drushta evatmanishvare. Then one can see the Atma and the Supreme Soul, Ishvare, and the controllers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is so it starts from just Chindanti Kovida Tasya. Tasya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna's Kataratim, Tasya Kataratim, and Kona Puryat, whoever. Okay, I request the devotees. So any volunteers for the last line? So just I'm happy for you to speak on this.
I'll do that, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. If the my understanding, Kona Katha Ratim, the meaning is if we know the Hari Katha is the only, if not we means if the intelligent person know the Hari Katha is the only means to cut the knot with the material bondage, so why we should not listen to this? This is the therefore, who will not pay the attention to this message? Like everyone will understand that this is the easy way, just to listen the Hari Katha and cut the knot, and you will be in the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the easiest way. So that's what I understand from there.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, that is. If anyone is not listening, so it is Nara Itaram. They are not the human beings. So it is Aho Virjeta Vina Naretaram. In the other context, Maitreya Muni says, after saying that Krishna's Varahadeva pastimes, Aho Virjeta Vina Naretaram, he says, Idi Pura Katanam Bhagut Kata Sudanam. Apiye Kadnanjalipi Bhavapaham, Aho Virjeta Vina Naretaram. Aho Virjeta Vina Naretaram. If they don't hear Krishna Katha, so they are not belong to the human society. Naraitaram. So here, so the Goswami is saying, Kona Puryat Kataratim, who will not be attracted to Krishna Katha, which would cut the knots of this Karma Grandhi. Very beautiful message in this verse. So it is also giving as a summary to the previous verses that Sudha Goswami has explained why one has to always remember Krishna. Tasmad yekena manasa Bhagavan sattam patihi srotavyah kirtitavyasya jayah pujyasya nityada all the time. So beautifully explained here. Okay, so now can I request, I will also request the devotees to read the purport as well so that it will give a bit more details. Srila Prabhupada's commentary. Can I request 3 devotees to read 3 paragraphs?
Prabhu, can I read the first paragraph, please?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Purport. The contact of the spiritual spark with material elements creates a knot, which must be cut if one wants to be liberated from the actions and reactions of fruitive work. Liberation means freedom from the cycle of reactionary work. This liberation automatically follows for one who constantly remembers the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead. This is because all the activities of the Supreme Lord, his Leela, are transcendental to the modes of the material energy. They are all attractive spiritual activities, and therefore constant association with the spiritual activities of the Supreme Lord gradually spiritualizes the conditioned soul and ultimately severs the knot of material bondage. Liberation from material bondage is, therefore, a byproduct of devotional service. Attainment of spiritual knowledge is not sufficient to ensure liberation. Such knowledge must be overcoated with devotional service so that ultimately the devotional service alone predominates. Then liberation is made possible. Even the reactionary work of the fruitive workers can lead one to liberation when it's overcoated with devotional service. Karma overcoated with devotional service is called karma yoga. Similarly, empirical knowledge overcoated with devotional service is called jnana yoga. But pure bhakti yoga is independent of such karma and jnana because it alone can not only endow one with liberation from conditional life, but also award one the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, can I request the devotee to read the 3rd paragraph?
Shall I read?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Therefore, any sensible man who is above the average man with poor fund of knowledge must constantly remember the personality of Godhead by hearing about him, by glorifying him, by remembering him, and by worshipping him always, without cessation. That is the perfect way of devotional service. The Goswamis of Vrindavan, who were authorized by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to preach the Bhakti cult, rigidly followed this rule and made immense literatures of transcendental science for our benefit. They have chalked out ways for all classes of men in terms of the different castes and orders of life in pursuance of the teachings of the Srimad Bhagavatam and similar other authoritative scriptures. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So now I also request the devotees to explain what Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport. Rajkeshwari Mataji, would you like to go first in the from the purports?
The whole of the purport?
Just you can explain. So for first paragraph.
Okay. It's a contact of the spiritual spark with material elements, and that creates a knot because the soul doesn't realize it's a spirit soul. Because of the conditioning around, the spirit soul thinks, I am also a body. And they think, because the soul thinks I'm a body, it behaves like body. And that is a reason of making more and more sinful or pious activities. Everything done except for glorifying the Lord. And so the material, the granthi gets bigger and bigger and tighter. So to liberate out of the fruity work, one has to use the intelligence to break free from that. Some people might do it through karma yoga or Jnana yoga, but ultimately everybody has to come to the stage of bhakti yoga before the rope will begin to sever. And to do that, one would have to constantly think of the Lord, glorify the Lord, read about the Lord, listen to glorification of the Lord, and worship Him all the time, 24/7. There is no free time to do any material actions. People who are living in a household situation, they have to utilize their situation to remember Krishna, or to talk about Krishna, or to glorify Him, or get together to listen about Krishna. But only by the constant association of Krishna, the conditioning will begin to break. And as it breaks, the spirit soul will begin to understand that it's not a body anymore. This is not a body, I am a spirit soul. And then we'll be able to break free from all the material elements. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully explained. Can I request Jahnakanya Mataji? Would you like to give any understandings from Srila Prabhupada's purport?
Hare Krishna. I think what we already said earlier on, as well as it says that this passage is saying about different kind of yogas, and so it points out how important it is to follow bhakti yoga. It says the Lord instantly, in a way, promotes liberation for one who constantly remembers Him, and who is the personality of God, and the personality of Godhead's transcendental pastimes. That is one of the things that come up very clearly. Why? Because all His activities, His leelas, relates to the three modes of material nature. They come into play big time. So it's us to choose which one is best to follow. And who would not be attracted to these spiritual activities? Because it clearly points out the freedom and liberation you receive, and the happiness at the end. But it's all to do with the people who are in the mode of ignorance and passion. They would not be able to take on this pure, healthy freedom to be with Krishna and remain youthful and never come back to this material world. There will be no birth, death, diseases, and all the suffering we go through. So it's saying if we are actually putting in real good, strong, sincere commitment, and have the constant association with the spiritual activities of the Supreme Lord, which is good association, reading the books that comes from the word of mouth of Krishna through Prabhupada, we will be able to sever the knot of the material bondage, and ultimately will gradually, through this devotional service, we become spiritualized, and our conditioned soul will be free of suffering. That's what I gather. And he says something about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was preaching bhakti, and it mentioned the 6 Goswamis also strongly following the rules and made immense literatures of transcendental science. And for our benefit, really, they didn't do it so, they're not selfish that they're doing it to show, they're doing it for us. And that's the message that's coming across throughout, that we are to share what we know, And with Prabhupada's letter as well, previously, what we read today, you know, how are we going to share? Share what we've been allocated and given. We've been given a little apartment, the opportunity to get married and have a family. Share that beautiful achievement by using your house, your car, and all the free time you've got to help the unfortunate, to help other people to know about this beauty of life, which is knowing about Krishna, getting the sweetness of Krishna by joining him and enjoying forever blissful happiness. So it is to do with really not only sitting down and doing these acts to show people, is actually to sincerely get engaged. The benefit will come along with the from the transcendental science by hearing about Krishna, glorifying him, remembering him, and worshiping him always without breaks, without having breaks. So constantly, whatever you're doing, if you remember Krishna, that is your salvation. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. He gives us everything. We must appreciate it. And if we remember him, that's all. It's not a big deal. You're not laboring to do it. Serving Krishna is not necessarily going out your way and labor in a suffering manner. If you put your heart in it, it's so easy and it's so pure and it's so transcendental, you wouldn't even feel it, Haribol. I mean, you listen to these people who do big book distribution, they go in the freezing cold. Up north, there's icicles in their vehicle and they sleep in the cold, they have cold showers and they don't feel it because they're transcendentally placed in a very, very spiritual place, so you don't feel all this suffering. So that's what Krishna is preaching here. He's saying that you are, this is available, and why wouldn't you take it if it's such beautiful result? Hare Krishna. Sorry, I can go on. It's such a beautiful passage.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, you are pouring the nectar, how it is, how beauty it is. Thank you, Mataji. So can I request Mampi Mataji to explain a bit more on this one?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Okay. Prabhu, out of 4 transcendentalists, namely karmis, Gyanis, yogis, and bhaktas. So bhaktas are the supreme. So what happens when the karmis or the Gyanis or the yogis, although they are transcendentalists, they are inflicted with the 2 material diseases, namely hankering and desire. So so hankering, yes, they do hanker after liberation. But bhaktas or the devotees of the Lord, they do not want even liberation, because liberation, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned, is a byproduct of devotional service. So all they want is to render service to the Supreme Lord. They don't even care for liberation. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in Shikshashtakam, Nadhanang najanang na sundaring kavitang bajagadisha kamaye mamo janmani janmanishare bhavatad bhaktira hoituki toi. So they don't want riches, they don't want opulence, they don't want fame, they don't want followers, they don't want liberation. All they want is bhakti, or all they want is the transcendental service to the lotus feet of Govinda. And by doing this, they are automatically liberated. They are in fact liberated when they are in their material bodies. So that's why I think Srila Prabhupada said that this is a byproduct of devotional service. So, but also award one of the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Yes, Prabhu. So that's my understanding, that the other sects of the transcendentalists, Gyanis, Karmis, Yogis, they are great, but at the same time, they hanker after liberation. But the bhaktas, they do not care for liberation. All they want is, even though Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he asked one of his devotees, Kholavacha Sridhar, and he asked for his to get some benediction, to get some boon, to ask from him some boons or benediction, he said no, he doesn't want any kinds of benediction, even though he was really, really poor. And he said that all he wanted is the devotional service to the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, life after life. So yes, Prabhu, so that's my understanding of these two lines. Hare Krishna.
So does the transcendental loving service of the Lord would be easily available for everyone? Does Krishna allow us to give it to everyone?
Prabhu, but also award one, the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Yes, Prabhu, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is easily available for one, but it's just the matter for us to grab it. They say that we can take a horse to the lake, but then we cannot make the horse to drink the water. So we must have the desire. And in the Kali Yuga, because we are very unfortunate. We are very unfortunate. We don't have intelligence. We don't have memory. We don't have any good qualities. But what we have is chanting, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has very mercifully has given it to anyone. We are disqualified of anything, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us this Nam. So I think if we chant the name of Krishna in this Kali Yuga, yes, we can experience and we can render the transcendental loving service of the Lord.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully explained. In the Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami says, this Bhakti Yoga, Krishna doesn't give that much easily to others. He can give liberation, but he doesn't give. Muktim dadati karchit sma na bhakti yogam. O Parikshit. So all of your grandfathers, Pandavas, they have been serving so much. So it is Daivam Priyaha Kulapatihi Kvata Kinkurovaha. The Lord has been serving them just like a kinkara, like a servant to the Pandavas, because in such a way they were loving the Lord. They have engaged themselves in the devotional service. So, but here, Ata eva anga bhajitam Bhagavan Mukundo Muktim dadati karichit smana bhakti yogam. The Lord gives liberation very easily, but he doesn't give the bhakti yoga that much easily. But so here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so much of mercy on all the fallen souls. He would give without restrictions. That is our Krishna consciousness. Thank you so much, Mataji. That we are all under the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, any other points? Devashish Prabhuji or Gaurangi Mataji, would you like to highlight?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I cannot Prabhuji.
You tell Mataji, whatever you say, you tell Mataji, whatever you wanted to say, tell Mataji. You wanted to hear you.
No Prabhuji, I cannot Prabhuji.
Mataji, you can speak in Hindi if you want to. It's fine.
Hindi.
Yeah.
Wait, Prabhuji. इसमें भगवान सब कुछ करते हैं और मैं तो अच्छे से नहीं पढ़ा है प्रभु जी, समझ नहीं सका। मैं बुक पर पढ़ती थी, फिर भी भगवान सबके लिए संदेश देता है। हम भगवान को अच्छे से पहचानना चाहिए। भगवान हर जगह है, तो हम भगवान के समझ के, भगवान के लिए सब कुछ करने, सब हम जो भी करता है भगवान को सेंटर में रख के सब करना है। तो हम यदि हमेशा हर वक्त भगवान को समझ के हम जो भी करता है सब भगवान के अर्पण करके, भगवान के लिए करके, पर हमारे लिए है, फिर भी हम भगवान के लिए समझ सकते हैं, तो वो हम ऑल टाइम हम भगवान को समझ सकते हैं, भगवान को स्मरण कर सकते हैं, तो वो हमारे लिए अच्छा होगा। तो हम जब हमारे फाइनल एग्जाम होगा, शायद हमारे धाम जाने के वक्त होगा, तो इसमें इजी होगा। हम सदैव भगवान को स्मरण करना चाहिए। जो भी करता है भगवान को सेंटर में रख के सब भगवान के नाम पे करना है, भगवान को अर्पण करता है। प्रभु जी, ऐसे प्रभु जी, हमें कुछ नहीं आया। थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
Krishna, so beautifully explained, Mataji. That is what we need to be in the temples to execute the devotional service, and not only this, there because we get the devotees association, or wherever devotees are gathering, that is the temple. Tiddhi kuronti dhani and swantastena gadabruta. So that is the devotee, they carry Krishna, and wherever they stay and gather together, more than one devotee, that will become a place of pilgrimage. Thank you so much, Mataji. Any other points, dear devotees, you wanted to share? So this is Yadanadhyasana Yuktaha Karma Grandhini Bandhanam Chintanti Kovidah Tasya Kona Kuryat Kataratim. Very beautifully explained here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Am I right to think that that one doesn't even have to have a desire to achieve this kind of liberation? So if you perform sincere, deep devotional service and without wanting anything or aiming for anything,
yes,
okay, Haribol.
Yes, ma'am. You have already been there. So Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nasochiti Nakamkshati. Samah sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. That means when you are engaged in the devotional service, you have crossed the liberation already.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we do not look back again. I just forgot about asking liberation. That means Lord would laugh. You have already achieved it. Yanmam pradhete bhavan. So when Brahma, he sees the Lord, and then he says that Ma Vedagarbhagastrinim Sargam Ujjamam Eva. So he says, whatever you wanted to create this one, I have already arranged for you. Yanmam pradhayate bhavan. You have prayed for me, prayed for the secondary creation. I have already awarded that one to you. So this means when we are in the devotional service, liberation already, she is already waiting upon, but it is for a completely devoted person who is in the 100% dedicated. For him, liberation is already there. He has already surpassed it. We do not have to think about it.
Hare Krishna.
So liberation means, what is liberation? It is engaging in the material activities. It is Chetaha kalvasya bhandaya muktaye cha atmanomat. Gune saktam bhandaya tatam va pumsi muktaye. As long as one is engaged in the horrible activities of the material things, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, and going outside and working for something else, just only for the sake of material body, that is the bondage. But as soon as that is no more desire of with this material enjoyment, that is called liberation. And once he is liberated, then only he could engage in the devotional service, coming to Krishna and associate with Krishna Katha, and then in due course of time, he will make a way to Vaikuntha. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Krishna Prabhu, can I just add one of my realization? What I gather from there.
Yes,
I-
Prabhu.
I feel our Paramatma is inside us, so he knows everything what we want. We never need to ask anything. If we are in his service, or if you get the nectar from his all the literature and Harinam, then our happiness or ecstasy will be in different level. The pure bhaktas have ecstasy in different level. The taste of that ecstasy you don't want anything if you get in close to that or get any nearer to that ecstasy or nearer the taste of that honey. So if we are in the service or if we get all the nectar from our parampara has left for us, Srila Prabhupada left for us, and all the books and all the service and it's a different way. Different people get happiness or ecstasy in different way. So just that ecstasy is unbelievable without any it can't be compared with any other test or any other achievement in the material world. So we need to have regular service and regularity and hankering for that happiness. That will be all, and Krishna will look after everything else. Horrible Prabhu. That's what I understand.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji. So Rupa Goswami says that Brahmanando bhave desha chet parardha guni kritaha. And whatever the transcendental pleasure that impersonalists they experience, it is a paramanu tulamapi, it's just a tiny bit. Naiti bhakti sukam bhodehe paramanu tulamapi. I do not take any more pleasure in them. I am in the ocean of pleasure, ocean of transcendental happiness. This is Rupa Goswami says. That will become very tiny particle in the when compared with the bhakti. The transcendental pleasure comes from devotional service. So that is the beauty of it. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Okay. So now you're already 43 minutes past 7 o'clock. So if you're all happy, if there are no further questions or no explanations, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving your association and explaining all this about this verse and understandings. So that this way we'll progress in our devotional life. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha paritanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Puri Vishnu Bhakti ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Ki jai.
Hare Krishna conscious day, everyone. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
Chaitanya Prabhu